D85 or biglou.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
The latest inflation numbers offering some cautiously encouraging news for American families struggling with higher prices.
Core inflation, which strips out volatile food and energy prices, also cooled. Core prices rose 2.5% compared to a year earlier, down from 2.6% in June. Economists generally view core inflation as a better indicator of underlying price trends because it is less affected by temporary swings in gasoline and food costs.
As correspondent Bernie Bennett, Hiroshi Okuda, the former chief executive of Toyota, who led the Japanese car maker's stellar rise in global markets, has passed away at the age of 93. He's best remembered for having led the development of the gas-electric hybrid Prius back in 1997 with groundbreaking technology at the time. A mixed bag on Wall Street at the close. The Dow was down about 21 points. The NASDAQ up 143. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
News and analysis at townhall.com. Wearing a football.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. No relief from this heat the next few days or nights. Tonight we dip down to 76 as our low. Tomorrow another blazing hot day. 98 the high, the blend of sunshine and clouds as 20% chance for late afternoon, evening showers. More of this on Friday, 99 the high. The feels like temperature reaching 108 and that same 20% chance we get rain. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make thepointradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with Phil Kornblut and Chris Bergen. Sports Talk is heard across the state on radio affiliates of the Sports Talk Media Network and is streaming live on SportsTalkSC.com, as well as Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number to call in is 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now, here are Phil and Chris with tonight's edition of Sports Talk.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Sports Talk here on the Sports Talk Media Network. Good to have you with us as we get over the hump on this Wednesday. Once again, coming to you on the road. We're on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour, and tonight we're making our stop in beautiful, wild, and wonderful Clinton. Notice the correct pronunciation.
Well
Clinton,
done,
South Carolina. Once home of Chris Bergen. Once the voice of the mighty Blue Hose, one of the really surprise teams in all of college football last season. Nobody saw 10 wins coming from the Blue Hose last season, but they did exactly that. And, of course, what happens to a school like this when they win 10 games? They lose their coach. They lose all their players because that's what happens. The bigger schools eat them up. As Coach Everhart left, and he is now at West Georgia. And is probably going to do a great job coaching there. He's been a winner everywhere he has been in his career. And now they have a new head coach who was here, of course, last year, working on the staff with the folks here, Coach Englehart, here on the staff working with the folks here at Presbyterian. And they're going to try to continue the success they had last year when they won a surprising 10 games and had a chance to make the playoffs, the FCS playoffs, and came up just a little bit short. They're in a league, of course, that you got to win the championship. You're not going to get in unless you win the championship. So we'll be talking to coach and players coming up here a little bit after 7 o'clock. And then, of course, more from South Carolina and Clemson tonight as they continue with their practices today. Somebody asked last night, Bergie, about pads at South Carolina. The full pads for the Gamecocks will go on Friday, so they haven't put on the full pads just yet.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you found that out. I asked that question because I was trying to figure the amount of practices they've had to acclimatize themselves. Of course, that's the new term. And I thought it was 5. I thought they could start, but maybe it's after 5, it appears.
Yeah. I mean, they've had pads on. They've, had a little bit of contact. I don't know they've taken them to the ground. Say, young man, good to see you. Good to see you. But that'll be happening more on Friday when they put the full pads on, and then, of course, they'll have a scrimmage on Saturday. Same thing with Clemson. Clemson will have a scrimmage on Saturday as well, so things will be starting to heat up at those two locations in the days to come. So things are heating up both in terms of the temperature and in terms of the work activity with these teams. We're sort of at that point now where we're just kind of grinding through and waiting for the season to get here. You know, we were up at Furman last night, and they're going to open up on the 27th at home against Anderson, and Presbyterian is also going to have an early opening game. They're going to be opening on the 27th here in Clinton against Virginia Wise. So, that's roughly 2 weeks away. So for these guys, they'll be getting here really, really fast.
Yeah, there's no question, and the heat is not going to make it much easier over the next few days. I mean, I know here in the PD, we're supposed to be around 100 degrees real temperature, 105, 110 real feel, and I saw Scott Eisberg down in Charleston just tweeted out that the Jamboree down there for the Charleston County School District has actually been canceled at North Charleston Regional Stadium because of the extreme heat in the forecast. So it's unfortunate, but you're going to have to play in it at some point in time. So good luck. I don't envy. I was telling somebody earlier this morning, I do not envy football players at this time of year at all.
No, it's tough. It's tough. And, I'm glad that, 20, 25, 30 years ago, whatever, you'd never get a water break. That was viewed as being weak. Mm-hmm. You never got a water break. That was a way to get you into shape. Water, don't even ask for it. You'd get a water break when we tell you. Now, through education and, unfortunately, experience, everybody from coaches to trainers, everybody else, they've learned that you got to give these players water when they need it. You got to give them breaks, regular breaks when they need it. You also have to get them in shape. They have to be conditioned. But then again, unlike 25, 30, 40 years ago, the athletes today are they're focusing on one sport, like in high school. Of course, when they get to college, they're focusing on one sport. But, they're conditioning year-round now. It's not like when the season's over, they're not going to start getting into shape. Say it used to be the season would end in December. Heck, you might not start working on the next season from a conditioning standpoint until probably like July or something, June or July.
Oh, yeah.
Now they get a couple of weeks off, and they've got them right back in the weight room, into the off-season workout programs, so that when they do report, they're ready to go. They just pick right up where they left off the previous season.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We talk, when Major League Baseball has spring training, when pitchers and catchers report in like February to start getting ready for the season. I'm thinking these guys, they stay in shape all year long. I'm not sure we need spring training to that degree that we have with Major League Baseball anymore. Back in the days when Babe Ruth was playing, they actually used spring training or whatever their version was to get into shape. But they don't need to do that anymore. And you're right. I think that's one of the great advancements. And, of course, I'm a little biased because I'm married to an athletic trainer. But I think one of the great advancements in college and pro and at the high school level as well is sports medicine and the education that they bring to the table. And I haven't been to a Carolina or Clemson practice, but I know what Coastal has. And you can't look 3 feet without seeing a water cooler or one of the water cows, if you will.
Yeah.
The instrument with the water in the middle and a bunch of hoses attached to it that the guys can just walk up whenever they need water, and no coach is going to say a word to them.
Yeah, you can't shame them anymore. They used to be. You used to be shamed if you wanted to go get take a water break, get some water, but not anymore. You can't do that. First of all, it's dangerous. And then secondly, if things go poorly, it could lead to lawsuits and all kind of stuff. As a result of that. So you got to be smart out there in the heat, whether you're doing football or pushing a lawnmower or anything else, playing golf even, you got to watch what you're doing. So, the other end result of this, too, is you're seeing more and more. I think this is pretty much the norm now. You're either practicing early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Nobody's doing the 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock practices anymore, and definitely you're not doing two-a-days anymore.
No, and I could think of some high schools, Phil, that would actually have 3 practices. You could remember this, 3 practices in a day, and they would spend a couple of days after school. They'd have camp, so to speak.
Yeah.
And they practice in the morning, go have lunch, come back, mid-late afternoon, go have dinner, come back and have a late night practice. Yeah, those days are way in our rearview mirror, and probably, I don't know if all coaches would agree, and I never played competitive football, so I certainly don't know a whole lot of what I speak, but my guess is probably for the better.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Those camp situations, they don't do those anymore, I don't think. anybody involved with high school football, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know of anybody that's doing that, but I can remember, years ago, not too far back, that, you'd have the kids would come and they'd sleep in the gym. They'd stay a day or two in the gym. And the bonding nature of that was really important for a football team. That was really crucial. That was really key in the bonding of football players, building that cohesiveness within a team. And there was no harm in that either, staying over and living in the gym. But it also went along when they were doing 2-a-days, and maybe like you mentioned, 3-a-days, which they've, eliminated now. So maybe along with that, they've eliminated the idea of staying over in the gym and getting up first thing in the morning and say going from 6 to 9 in the morning, and then you're taking your break and you come back at 3 in the afternoon, you go 3 to 6. They're not doing that anymore.
I don't think so. I think those days are behind us. But, yeah, you're right about the bonding experience. I think most of the kids who played high school football back then or are now young or older adults would probably say that was one of the best times they had in high school. Yeah. Now, they, I'm sure, hated it when they went through it. But looking back on it, I'm sure they all, look back on it with a lot of pride that they were able to do that with their teammates.
Yeah. All right, our phone number is 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number by which you can reach us here on Sports Talk. And we've got time tonight to take in some of your phone calls. Phone number again, 888-898-2525. Our text line number is 803-900-4847, presented by Larry Lucas, State Farm Insurance in Columbia. Almost needed Larry today because, I was driving like Dale Earnhardt with his hair on fire coming up I-26. And one thing about, if I could make a suggestion to the people who are doing the work around Malfunction Junction and so-called improving the roads there around Columbia, you didn't put enough lanes going out of Columbia. You need to go back and throw in another 2 or 3 lanes. It's incredible. It's. I think they've done something really. I don't want to be critical, Bergie, but the connection from I-20 going west to I-26 going west, which will be I-26 going west, that connection, that merge, they force you into a 1-lane merge. And what does that do most of the day? Creates a mammoth backup from 26 back to 20. And I don't really thought that through really well. Why would you go from having, going 4 or 5 lanes on I-20, then you go to 2 lanes getting off, but then they merge you into 1 lane, and it's a 1-lane little snake of a ride all the way over to merge onto 26. It inevitably is going to get backed up all the way back to I-20, probably going to back up the traffic on I-20 right there. You've just created another stranglehold. You're supposed to be clearing these strangleholds. You've just created another, in my engineering opinion. Your thoughts?
I've driven through there several times, and I've kind of wondered. It's kind of cool. Then you realize when you get off, if you follow the instructions and the signage there on I-20 before you get to I-26, you notice it asks you to merge over several miles or a couple of miles before you get to 26. But if you watch on I-20 on the right lane, you can still stay in on the interstate and then merge over. So, yeah, no, it's an interesting concept, but considering what they had to work with, I may cut them a little slack because that may be one of the worst or has been one of the worst interchanges in our state's history.
And I drive through it every day.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, Plummer. Of course, you drive like a grandmother, so you're probably the reason it gets backed up.
I don't drive like a grandmother. I rear-ended a grandmother one time, Phil.
And Josh leaves himself enough time so he doesn't have to drive like Dale Earnhardt Sr.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, I left myself plenty of time if the traffic were moving like it should be with all this, billions of dollars being spent on the new highway system there. I left myself plenty of time. Got here in plenty of time. I know what you're thinking, Bergie. I know what you're thinking. Go ahead. Say it out loud. What were you
Always
thinking?
Always a caveat. I knew you were there on time because you opened the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you just ride the shoulder, we should rename the shoulder of the interstate to just Phil Kornblut Lane.
Get out of the way.
Pass a law that just says Phil Kornblut, from the times of 4 to 6, he's allowed
If you go to Atlanta or if you go to like Houston, Texas or Dallas, what do they have? They have these flyovers. They build these mammoth flyovers. So you're coming off of one interstate and you're going on to this single lane flyover that takes you over the interstate that you're going on to, and and you flow right into it. There's no backup. You used to live in Houston. You know what I'm talking about, what they've got out there.
I'm trying to figure that you're not really trying to compare Houston, Texas traffic with 4 million people to Columbia, South Carolina traffic with what? 175,000? How many? What's the population of Columbia now?
About 800,000, 700,000.
So, yeah, you're really not trying to compare the two, are you?
No, I'm just saying, a flyover here or there. I think they're building some flyovers on the other side of Malfunction Junction, and maybe that's going to help. But they needed
that
one.
will help, no doubt.
They needed one going from 20 to 26. Anyway, nobody cares about our issue with the traffic. The important thing is we are here, we are safe, we're sound, and we're looking forward to talking with the Blue Hose coming up.
And by the way, according to WorldPopulationReview.com, Columbia's population is 149,000.
Oh, no. That's totally wrong.
That's what it says.
I see the same thing, but you also got to see that the areas around Columbia are much.
Now,
so
if you're going to count Irmo and Lexington and all that, that's just the Columbia area.
The population of the Midlands is 1.02 million.
Yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, if you're talking about downtown Columbia, the city limits, then but I mean that's the case in every city. Like the population of Greenville's about what? If you took the city limits, it's like 100,000. But if you count metropolitan Greenville with the adjacent counties and people,
no doubt.
You're talking about 700,000-800,000 people, maybe 1 million people. So,
and to compare it, the population of Latta is about 300.
Downtown Latta would be about 300, but if you count the metropolitan area of Latta, you're touching 1,200. You're touching 1,200.
299 now because Phil moved out.
That's true. That is true. All right. Our phone number, 888-898-2525. That is the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number. Learn more about the lottery's impact at sceducationlottery.com/education wins. And playing for fun is a win for education. I mentioned the text line number and LarryLucasAgency.com. You probably have insurance. I hope you do if you drive around here. But switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com or call Larry, his Columbia office number, 803-799-1998. In Lexington, the number is 803-359-0770. A couple of quick notes. We've got the match play portion of the U.S. Amateur now. We had 2 players from South Carolina qualify through stroke play. William Jennings of Greenville, who I believe plays at Alabama, and Clemson's Hampton Roberts. Jennings won his match today, defeated a player from South Africa, Milan Potgier, who was ranked number 9, and Jennings is ranked number 56. Or I guess maybe he finished 56 in stroke play. Maybe that's the stroke play ranking. And Potgieter finished 9th. Might be Potgieter. Anyway.
You think he's related to the guy on the PGA Tour with the same last name?
I would say there's a pretty good possibility.
I can't imagine there are that many Potgieters or Geeters out there.
And I think the other guy's from South Africa as well. Anyway, Jennings, he wins 3-1. And then Hampton Roberts from Clemson, he loses to Jack Beauchamp from Dallas, and he falls 2-1. So that is where things are involving the state players in the U.S. Amateur who made it to the match play. Don't know if you saw this cool thing over at Air Force Academy today, as they were opening.
I just saw the video.
Yeah, they were opening football practice, and an F-16. Right as they were opening practice, an F-16 flew overhead. Of course, it's going to be a thrill for them. But the cool part is it was being piloted by a former Air Force fullback, Nate Walker, who's now a fighter pilot. So he goes and flies an F-16. I hope it was approved. He flew an F-16 over the team as they were going through their little calisthenics there to open up. How about that? How cool is that?
If you see the video, and we've retweeted it from Front Office Sports, make sure your sound is on because the sound is incredible.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Russell Westbrook announced his retirement today from the NBA. 18 seasons, an MVP in 2017. A terrific player. He was a triple-double machine during the heyday of his career.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook coming out of UCLA. How about the Lakers? Oh, yeah, I think no doubt. First ballot should get in easily. with his numbers. Mm-hmm. And the Lakers were sold again today. They were sold for $12 billion. They were sold to American businessman Josh Kushner and another American businessman, Bob Iger. Isn't he involved with, like, Disney or something?
He was the former CEO at Disney. I'm not sure if he still is. Because I was going to ask you the question, and I double-checked the scroll I saw that said former, because I was going to ask you, doesn't that present an interesting conflict of interest with ESPN being all up in the NBA and being owned by Disney?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many conflict of interest when it comes to those sort of things. You know, who knows where they're going to draw the line. They never draw the line on these sort of things. But $12 billion.
That's incredible.
For the slackers, you know, a team that really.
If you want to own a professional franchise and you have to ask how much money it costs you, you're way out of your league.
Yeah.
Just stay in your lane.
$12 billion. And let's see what else I want to mention here. NCAA, this was last night. NCAA, they're still fighting the legal system. NCAA said they will not give a blanket waiver to the class of 2022.
Look at them growing a spine. Yeah.
But they're going to lose.
It won't last. I agree, but at least they're attempting to look like they've got a spine and a little bit of a backbone with some of their rules.
They said the injunction should never have been granted, and they have asked the 10th Circuit to permanently reverse it.
Wow.
So good luck with that. The 10th Circuit has ordered expedited briefing on that request for a stay pending appeal. The deadline for the class members to file a response for this emergency motion is this Friday.
Here's what you'll do if you're the 10th Circuit or any of the other courts. Here's where you play the four corners. You just kick the can down the road, and you get into late this year, and by that point in time, the NCAA may just give up and say, well, you know, the football teams have already played with their guys. Basketball's already starting with their guys. What's the point?
Agreed. I mean, and what do teams do if this is pending? What do teams do who are taking in, especially these basketball teams, taking in these players? Of course, I guess before basketball season gets underway, this will be fully resolved.
You would think, yeah.
We'll know by then. Football, have you seen? I haven't seen where any football teams have taken any of these guys yet. Have you?
I don't think I have either. Yeah. Certainly not around here that we would pay close attention. There may be a couple, you know, Midwest and out in the West, but I haven't seen anybody that. Now, I've seen several basketball teams looking into guys who played last year that want to come back and play.
And they've been taken. Like Louisville just took the Trimble kid from North Carolina.
Yeah.
You know, who's played 4 years at North Carolina. He wouldn't got his fifth year. He's going to Louisville.
Pat Kelsey may have a team. They may be a squad. You might want to go ahead and pencil them in, obviously, for the NCAA tournament, but they could legitimately give Duke and North Carolina, those guys, a major run for their money in the ACC this year. That's a talented squad he's been able to compile.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, he's an excellent coach, and everywhere he's been successful. And he quickly stepped into the mess that was at Louisville and turned them around, and then now made them, you know, a major threat once again. This came from the other day. We hadn't had a chance to talk about it, but, you know, again, this is further proof that everything that I have said, maybe you have said, we could probably combine this into we have said, everything we have said, including the plumber, everything we have said about the demise of college sports because of everything that has changed is totally inaccurate. Totally inaccurate. People are not being turned off by all the changes. If anything,
no, you're right.
The interest is blossoming. Further proof is USC and the Gamecock Club. This came out a few days ago, so this is old, but I wanted to talk about it. They announced record-breaking fundraising, generating more than $244 million during the 25-26 fiscal year, highest fundraising achievement in athletics history at USC. So do they just have better fundraisers now than they used to? Or are people more excited about this new world of college athletics to where they don't mind throwing in a lot of money? They don't mind that players are getting paid lots and lots of money to play college sports now. Doesn't bother them whatsoever. This particular group of sports fans.
I think that's the point, Phil, because I don't think Carolina and the Gamecock Club have done a better job of hiring. Maybe they have marketing-type people, because still the pitch is going to be fairly similar. But now you're pitching, hey, the only pitch you can have is, hey, we need this money, we need the fundraising so we can pay our athletes better and attract more and better athletes, more and more athletes. And the only way we can do this is with your help. And if people were turned off by the current state of college athletics, they'd hang up the phone. But clearly that's not the case. And I would bet when IPTAY gets all their money put together, they'll probably have a higher rate of income into IPTAY than they've had the past couple of years too.
I wonder who's supporting this. I wonder which age group. Is it
that would be fascinating. Yeah.
Is it the recent graduates who are stepping into lucrative jobs as professionals, maybe in the IT world, maybe in the stock market? Maybe lawyers don't have to go as long as doctors to be trained and start making big time money. Or is it the next group? Those who've been out of college for a few years, but they've established their professional careers, they're making lots of money, they want to support their team, and they're the ones that are giving. I got to believe that the older group, that group that's in that, say, 55 to 75 category, who grew up with college sports being a certain way and the donations being for a certain reason and being done a certain way, I got to believe a large percentage of that group is turned off by what has happened and may not be giving like they have previously.
No, I think you're 100% correct, because it's not the game I grew up with. I don't want to support professional athletes. If I did, I'd go watch the NBA and Major League Baseball play. I think that's probably their thinking. But they're quickly, obviously, being replaced, and being replaced at a very high economic level.
Okay, we're going to run to the break. We're coming to you tonight from Presbyterian College. We'll be back. Don't go away.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. No relief from this heat the next few days or nights. Tonight we dip down to 76 as our low. Tomorrow another blazing hot day. 98 the high, the blend of sunshine and clouds, as 20% chance for late afternoon, evening showers. More of this on Friday. 99 the high. The feels like temperature reaching 108, and that same 20% chance we get rain. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
If you've never had genuine Wagyu or here for steaks and burgers, you don't know what you're missing. Time to order the best of the best from HandJCattle.com. These are local farmers in Saluda where tradition meets quality. The best quality beef and a discount for Point listeners. Enter keyword The Point as one word and get 10% off, plus free delivery in Lexington and Richland County orders of $50 or more. It's cooked in season over at HandJCattle.com.
The Point. The Point.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will be leaving the Trump administration at the end of the month to spend time with her young family. The 28-year-old Leavitt called it a bittersweet decision in a social media post Wednesday, shortly after President Trump announced she'd be stepping down. She is the youngest person in history to hold the role and recently gave birth to her second child. Severe storms have wreaked havoc across the Midwest, causing tornadoes, heavy rains, and flash flooding. First responders and utility crews have been working to clear roads and restore power to hundreds of thousands of customers. A 4-year-old boy died in Indiana when a tree fell on a home. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 21 points, the Nasdaq rose 143, the S&P advanced 20. More details at srnnews.com.
Exciting news! Founders Federal Credit Union is offering a limited time rate on 15-month certificates and IRA certificates. With a minimum deposit of just $500, lock in 4.58% APY or 80% yield on a 15-month certificate. That's right, 4.58% APY. Or open a 15-month IRA certificate at 4.84 APY. Let your money work for you with guaranteed dividends. New and renewal certificates of $500 or more unlock an additional 0.25% dividend increase. Don't let this chance slip away. Certificates can be opened on Founders Online, the Founders app, or at an office near you. IRA certificates can be opened at a Founders office only. Not a member yet? Visit foundersfcu.com to learn more and see if you qualify for membership with Founders. Dividends compound quarterly. Rates accurate as of July 1st, 2026. Rates, terms, and conditions subject to change without notice. Federally insured by NCUA. Membership qualification required.
Hey y'all, this is Ted from Flight Deck Restaurant. We'd like to invite you and your family to dine with us. We have a great menu that's sure to please your whole family. We have fresh cooked burgers, big juicy wings, blue plate menu featuring country cooking, oven baked hoagies, fresh crisp salads, authentic Greek food like gyros, souvlaki, and baklava. We also carry 20 different premium cheesecakes and pies. Flight Deck Restaurant also has an arcade with 30 different games like Star Wars, Batman, Skee Ball, Bass Wheel, Pac-Man, Galaga, and so much more. Flight Deck, your favorite family restaurant. Thanks y'all and God bless.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
If your ride's out of warranty and something big breaks, it could cost you thousands. Ludacris here. Let me put you on to the auto protection I trust, Endurance. With Endurance, you could never have to pay out of pocket for covered car repairs again. I'm talking about the pricey stuff: drivetrain, transmission, electrical, AC, plus lots more. You pick the certified mechanic and Endurance pays them directly. No middlemen, no runaround. If your car is under 20 years old, you're covered with unlimited miles. Plus added benefits like 24/7 roadside assistance and towing. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Listen, saving money is the same as making money. So who's gonna cover your next breakdown? You or Endurance? Right now, pick the plan that's right for you and get a full year of elite benefits. A $2,000 value, free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee.
For your fast free quote, call 800-471-2595. 800-471-2595. 800-471-2595.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
Chased glory, lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
It's a wild and wonderful Over the Hump Day Wednesday here on Sports Talk. It's hot, 101. That wasn't my speed. That was the temperature. Could have been my speed. No, I wouldn't do that. 101 on the reading coming up to Clinton from Columbia, which is unusual because Columbia, we all know, is the hottest place on earth. I guess that means it was like 103, 104, and it cooled off as I came towards the upstate. Because you go towards Columbia, it always gets hotter as you get closer to Columbia. That's because those Gamecocks are red hot, Bergie. They're red hot after listening to some of the defensive players talk today. The talk around South Carolina is nothing but high positivity from inside that program right now. They are ultimately confident about what they can accomplish for this coming season.
And Shane Beamer and the coaches and players may all believe that and be spot on. I think if we're still hearing this kind of stuff coming out of the scrimmage this weekend, that will be a certain positive sign. Same thing for the Tigers. You know, Dabo's downplaying the entire team, saying we're a bunch of nobodies, and just hoping we can turn somebody into something by the end of the season. But I think gauging what the guys and the coaches say coming out of this coming scrimmage, and certainly the next one, will be a lot better gauge as to where both those teams are than what we're getting right now.
Yeah, and of course, you got to let them cut it loose in these scrimmages, guys who are healthy and ready to go, because you got to you got to figure some things out. Then again, you don't want to lose anybody in these scrimmages, but you got to play football, and there's going to be some people getting hurt, unfortunately, probably some crucial people. So you cross your fingers with South Carolina and Clemson both scrimmaging this weekend, and you hope for the best for all the schools. Anybody scrimmaging, you hope that they come out of it in good shape. We're going to hear from Torian Gray, South Carolina secondary coach, here coming up. If you want to join us, phone number 888-898-2525, text line 803-900-4847. As I mentioned, it is boiling hot around South Carolina. There's only one way to cool off the entire bod, and that's just go jump in the Atlantic Ocean and just cool off. Now, the water temperature might be a little bit warm, but
84 degrees today.
Okay, well, you know what? But when the breeze blows against your wet skin, that creates a cooling zone. So
Feels nice.
you go down to the ocean, go down to the beach, and if you need a place to stay, which you no doubt will, just give Jimmy Smith a call at James Smith Real Estate. By the way, Jimmy tells me he's offering up some discounts here in the month of August. So give him a call, and they've got some features going, some discounts going with some of their properties. 843-237-4246 is their number. Online at pauliesvacationrentals.com. Maybe you want to buy a piece of property. Maybe you want to buy some dirt and build something, or maybe you want to buy something that's already built. He's got beautiful houses that he's representing up and down the coast and waterways and in Pawleys Island and other places, Murrells Inlet, whatever. Let him work with you. 843-237-4246 for your perfect beach getaway. James Smith Real Estate, right there at Litchfield and Pawleys Island. I got to several text messages we hadn't gotten to. Let's get to these text messages real quick. From the 803, Bergie, see that an Arkansas high schooler felt something strange in his football helmet. When he took it off, there was a 2-foot cottonmouth snake behind the padding.
Oh, my gosh.
I know one thing.
Go ahead.
If that's me, not only they would be having to clean some football pants, and I'm not talking about grass stains. And also, I mean, I'm never putting on a football helmet again.
Exactly. I'm going old school. Like Dabo, remember years ago when they played that game, he put the leather helmet on? That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. That's
I'm
freaky.
doing. Oh
this is from the 803. This is from Barry. This actually has a name on it. I think Coach Beamer is making a mistake with the positive talk. Okay. Remember, we're just talking about the positivity. I think Coach Beamer is making a mistake with the positive talk. I don't care for the "we are awful" coach speak, but I wish he was taking the "we have 100 miles to go, and thank goodness we don't have to play anytime soon" approach. The perpetual "the team is still young" excuse will never fly this year, no matter if coaches say it or folks in the media say it, because it's not true. That's from Barry. Thank you, Barry. I don't totally, whether it's Beamer or any of the coaches, I think it's best to under-publicize your team, under-promote your team, and then over-deliver your team, huh?
Oh, totally agree. And as a matter of fact, to Barry's point, if you look through Phil Steele's magazine, one of the things he has in there is the experience chart. Carolina is the most experienced team in the SEC.
Yep.
If you look at however he figures this out, I'm guessing it's based off class size. And so, Barry's right. The "we're young" excuse, and I'm not sure the Gamecocks have tried to play that off. I think they've embraced being an older team. And, you think back to what Beamer has said, that you successful teams in college, not just college football. We've talked a lot about it in college basketball because it's obvious, but I think college football teams that are experienced, whether they're transfers or you just finally get your high school class that are juniors and seniors, are much better.
Yeah. Well, when you look at they're too deep, for example, wide receivers, Mazio Bennett, he's been a starter in the past. Jaden Sellers started some last year. Nick Harbor, of course, is a starter. And so plenty of experience there. They've got their starting tight end back in Brady Hunt, and a guy that has played a good bit, Maurice Brown, in there as well. On the offensive line, Jacarius Peak, when he's healthy, he's been a starter. Hank Purvis was a starter from where he came. Carter Miller was a starter from where he came. Poku was a starter from where he came. Surratt was a starter. Some of the other backups were starters. I mean, they're taking guys who were starters at other programs. So I think this is what they're compiling. How many starts have you had in your career?
Right.
And it adds up. The one place where they are maybe a little bit thin from that standpoint would be running back, because Matthew Fuller's been a backup. Christian Clark's been a backup. The others haven't played either, so they're a little bit inexperienced there. On the defensive side, of course, you got Stewart. He's, of course, been a starter. I think I'm trying to look here. Now, a little bit, Gabriel Brownlow-Dendy, of course, started some games for South Carolina last year. I think Caleb Herring was a backup from where he came. And I think that Troy Pike started some. Tomiwa Durajaye from Illinois, I think he started some up there as well. So they've got some starting experience, but got some guys who haven't started a whole lot behind them. The linebackers, full of starters. Okoronkwo was a starter. Murphy's been a starter. Johnson's been a starter. And then the secondary, Collier's been a starter. Swain has started some. Williams was a starter last year, and Boosie has started some and played a good bit. So there's a lot of starts in that top 22. There's no question about it.
Yeah, very experienced bunch, and they need to capitalize on that experience, especially as they continue to build in some of the younger guys. And I think that's where the two relatively easy games to open up the season will help them considerably.
Yeah. Speaking of Stewart, by the way, another note I didn't mention earlier this week, Stewart and Vakari Swain been named to the Sporting News preseason All-American squad. So some love there for a couple of Gamecock defenders. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to Keith in Camden with us tonight here on Sports Talk. Hello, Keith. How are you? Good to have you with us.
I'm doing well, Phil and Bergie. Hope both of y'all are. And you just hit on what I was calling about, so I'll just hang up. Specifically, outside of Dylan, speak a little bit about the defensive end spot that still uncertainty about Stewart's back and all that. How do we look there? And I'll hang up and listen. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great evening.
All right, thank you.
Too, Keith.
Well, yeah, the Stewart situation is, I think, just going to be in the dark about it. I think, and if he doesn't play much in those first two games against the inferior opponents, which, a coach should never take anything for granted. You should never take anything for granted, though. Here's the thing. If he's been cleared by the doctors, if they say he's healthy, and he can't hurt himself by going out and playing a normal football game. Now, he can get hurt in some other way, but he's not going to re-aggravate this or hurt this by just going out and playing. Don't you play him?
Oh, you have to. Absolutely. If he is cleared, first off, he's going to tell you, I want to play, coach. This is why I'm here. I'm trying to develop my skills for the next level. You keep me on the bench, that's not going to make me really happy. And as soon as he gets the full clearance from the doctor, yeah, you have to. But on the flip side, you are playing a Kent State team to open up the year that came off a 5-7 campaign last year, and just not a very good football team. And as I mentioned a week or so, earlier this week, I think they should roll up a bunch of points. So you don't have to play him much. But yeah, you got to stick him in there as a starter. You got to find out what you got from him once he's cleared.
True that. So my point is, in all that, if they don't play him those first two games, is that an indication that he's just not totally healthy to where he can go out and play, not re-injure that, and not worry about getting hurt? If he gets a sprained ankle or something else, then that just happens as part of football. But as far as that back injury is concerned, if they're not playing him, that tells me that they're going to be super sensitive to how they use him.
If they don't play him much against Kent State, the first 4 questions at a press conference after the game will be about Dylan Stewart and his injury.
Oh, and the answer, I'll tell you the answer is right now. You'll know the answer. He's fine. He's making progress. And
yep, we just wanted to rest him another week.
You'll see more and more of him, and same thing. I can go and tell you the answer on that right now. But that's a key item. Should also mention too, going back to talking about experience, another one of the wide receivers, Nitro Tuggle, transferred in from Purdue, has played a lot, had a lot of starts. Donovan Murph started some for South Carolina. So, again, that's 2 other guys who got starts. Going back to the question, though, so you got Dylan Stewart, of course, on one end when healthy, and it looks like Caleb Herring probably is going to be the starter on the other end. They brought him in today to talk to the media, and he looks like a very good-looking football player. He looks pretty physical. He kind of gives you that long, lean-looking defensive end. He's not – I mean, from where I was sitting, he didn't look huge, but he looked kind of tall, and he looked kind of lean and well put together. So I think they're counting on him on the other side. Of course, there's the freshman Julian Walker that people are been excited about. Heard some good things about Jaquavius Dodd. I think he's coming off injury, and he seems to be making a lot of good progress. Anthony Addison, I think they like the way he's been progressing at defensive end. Kobe Saki-Pra is another one who's coming off, I believe he's coming off a knee, but I think he's back healthy and should be able to help. Oh, and George Wilson, a guy that they had recruited, remember, out of high school. He went elsewhere, comes into South Carolina last year, suffers a knee injury, misses the entire season. He's another one you got to keep an eye on. Jaylen Brown is another one who's coming off injury, another free agent pickup for them. So there's a lot of people. I haven't even mentioned Andrew Harris coming out of high school, highly regarded, or the free agent Drew Collins from Alabama. So they got a lot of people. They got a lot of people they can play at the defensive end spots. But getting them healthy and getting the right ones in there and getting them some snaps, going to have to wait and see how things look when they come out of this scrimmage.
Well, again, I hate to continue to harp on this, but it's a fair point. They are opening the season unlike they've opened the season in many, many years, because normally there's an SEC game or a difficult game, Virginia Tech last year, those type games to open up the year. Instead, they've got two games they should not have much problems with, both Kent State and then Towson. Those are games they should be able to rotate in at that defensive end. Whether or not Dylan Stewart is 100%, they still should be able to rotate in a bunch of guys, play a lot of wide receivers, play a lot of people, and get a much, much better gauge against different opponents of where they stand come Mississippi State.
All right. Thank you for the phone call there, Keith. Let's see a couple of other text messages to roll through here. Nope, not going there. Gamecock Tony from Lancaster. I like what you said last week, Phil, about USC once again living in a tougher neighborhood, and once again Clemson is not. If Dabo had the schedule Beamer had every year, he wouldn't be able to sleep. Okay. Well, we pointed out just the number, just using the coaches' ranking, how many teams South Carolina faces who are in the top 25 versus how many teams Clemson will face, and it's not even close. Not even close. Let's see, one more here. This is from Lou. Where was the article about how Will Muschamp had more SEC wins than what Shane Beamer currently has? Let's call it how it is right here, right now. Beamer talks a good game and is much more likable than Muschamp, but he has one less. He has one less than Muschamp to this point. Let's see. This is 5 years in for Beamer. He's 33-30 overall, right? He's 33-30 overall. What was Muschamp's record after 5 years? I guess he was there, 5 years, right?
Yep, and he was 28-30 at Carolina. Now, if he's going to add in the Florida wins, then yeah, obviously he coached a lot longer. But in his 5 years at South Carolina, 6-7, 9-4, 7-6, 4-8, 2-5. When he got hammered, axed midway through the season. So,
and Beamer is 33-30, and he's 16-24 in the SEC. I mean,
now
his
SEC
SEC numbers got
22 in the SEC at Carolina.
Pretty much a wash, and last season really tilted the numbers negatively because they hadn't won fewer than 3 in any of the previous 4 seasons in the SEC. 3, 4, 3, 5. Then he goes 1 win last year. So that kind of skewered the numbers a little bit. 33-30, 16-24 at this point in his career at South Carolina. So, I mean, they're about the same, really, right? They're about the same.
And keep in mind, too, Muschamp didn't even make it 5 full years.
Right. And, I mean, again, I don't think the COVID year should be used against a coach.
Yeah, I agree with you there. No doubt.
Firing a coach during the COVID campaign was unfair. Sorry, it's just any coach, Muschamp, whoever. I don't know how many coaches got fired during 2020, but I mean, you didn't know from day to day who you're going to be able to put on the field or on the court. How could you run a team? How could you truly run an organization and run a team? You didn't know if you were going to be playing a game that night or that weekend. You know, Clemson went all the way down to Tallahassee to play a game, only to wake up and be told they weren't going to play. So that was totally not right. You know, if you wanted to fire Muschamp for some other reasons or after another year, and you couldn't tell what happened in 2020, was that part of the direction the program was moving, or was that just, 2020 being what it was, I would have given him another year to get it figured out, to be quite honest with you, But it is what it is, and they made the move, and he's back at Texas making a lot of money. Listen, Muschamp's been he's been singing all the way to the bank. Think about it. He left South Carolina. They had to pay him off, I think it ended up being about $12 million, right? He gets hired by his buddy at Georgia, takes him in, makes him defensive coordinator. I think they were paying him couple of million at Georgia, weren't they? Million plus, couple of million.
Oh, I'm sure.
He stays there for a few years, wins back-to-back national championships, then decides to take a year off, then gets picked up at Texas, where I believe he's probably one of the highest coordinators being paid in the country. The guy knows how to live right, I'm going to give it to him. He knows how to play his cards right. So,
and he may be one of those guys, Phil, that is a very, very good assistant coach. And I think that's probably true. Just not a very good head coach. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Not everybody's Nick Saban.
No.
And,
of course,
Saban remains to be seen.
Saban was an excellent assistant coach and became a great head coach.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen whether Shane Beamer falls into one of those two categories. I think he's going to be a good head coach as time continues to move along, but we don't know.
All right, we're going to hit the break here on Sports Talk. We're coming to you from Presbyterian College. We got the Blue Hose coming up after the top of the hour break. We'll be back in just a moment.
Earned history. Chased glory. Lived consequences. 500 miles against the Lady in Black. A NASCAR Crown Jewel Too Tough to Tame Labor Day Weekend Classic. The Cookout Southern 500. The chase for the next NASCAR Cup Series champion starts here. The NASCAR Chase Weekend at Darlington Raceway, September 5th through 6th. Get your tickets now at darlingtonraceway.com.
There's a lot of things we take for granted in our lives. Your home's AC will run cool. Your drive-through coffee will be hot. And the car will start when it's time to take your kids to school. It's when things don't go as planned that you start thinking about who to call and where to turn. The good thing is, you can prepare for life's most difficult days by calling the Larry Lucas Agency today. Larry is a State Farm agent that has been taking care of people across South Carolina for more than 2 decades. You probably have insurance, but switching is easy, and bundling can save you hundreds or more. Most importantly, the Larry Lucas Agency can help you choose the protection you want at the price you want. All backed by South Carolina's #1 home and auto insurance company. Visit LarryLucasAgency.com today or give Larry a call at 803-799-1998. Like a good neighbor, Larry Lucas State Farm is there.
If you're juggling multiple credit card balances and you're feeling overwhelmed, high interest can add up quickly and it can become stressful to control. Now through September 30th, 2026, well-qualified borrowers can pause interest when they transfer credit card balances and enjoy 0% APR for 12 months. A balance transfer can help simplify your life, making it easier to focus and manage your budget. This limited time offer can help you move forward with confidence and less worry. Plus, with fewer due dates and less interest to worry about, you can spend more time focusing on what matters most: your goals, your family, and your financial future. Upon expiration, APR will then revert to the standard variable APR currently 12.5% to 17.90%. If credit criteria are not met, 17.9% APR will apply. Don't wait. Visit foundersfcu.com/cc for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
The road to success, well, it isn't always a straight one, but it's so much easier getting there with a good education. I tell my kids every day before dropping them off at school, don't take this for granted. Tuition assistance from the South Carolina Education Lottery helped me go back to school when I needed to make a change. And I'm so grateful because now I am where I'm supposed to be.
Better opportunities means a better South Carolina, and a better South Carolina means a better you. Visit sceducationlottery.com/betteryou.
All right, coming up on the top of the hour, on the other side, we'll be talking to the folks here at Presbyterian College as they are looking to continue what they started last year. Coach Matt Roll, the new head football coach, just talking with him, was in Missouri before he came over here to Presbyterian and joined the staff as the offensive line coach. Now he's taken over. And we're going to have with us as well wide receiver Jalen Patrick from Hepzibah, Georgia, and defensive back Ryan Largen Ryan Largen from Murrells Inlet. You go to St. James? You go to St. James there at Murrells Inlet? Yeah, okay. I go by St. James all the time when I'm down there. The Blue Hose last year, Bergie, 10-2, third time in school history, first time since 2005, had 11 all-conference selections, the most in school history, 6 on the first team. They went 7-0 to start the season. They went over 365 days in between losses. How about that? One of the final 8 FCS schools to take a loss. Ranked as high as 16th in the coaches poll. Highest in any team from the PFL has gotten since 2009. 6-0 at home for the first time since 98. Currently on an 8-game home winning streak, longest is 1980. Beat 11th-ranked Mercer, set a school record for rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, total points, and sacks. Thank you, Brandon Burke, for all of that. We'll be back with the Blue Hose.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Caroline Leavitt is stepping down from her White House spokesperson role.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is leaving her post at the end of August to spend more time with her young family after the recent birth of her second child. As he announced her departure, President Trump described her as one of his most trusted aides, saying she would continue to be one of his top outside advisors. In a social media post, Leavitt called it a bittersweet decision and that she felt in her heart she cannot be the best mom her 2 young children deserve while devoting the constant time, energy, and attention required of the White House press secretary. Leavitt served the president as a press aide during his first term in the White House and is the youngest person to hold the role of press secretary at age 28. I'm Jennifer King.
Germany is beefing up its intelligence services as threats from foreign powers become more of a concern.
The German cabinet on Wednesday approved draft legislation meant to strengthen the nation's foreign and domestic intelligence services and reduce the reliance of the EU's most populous nation on tips from its allies. The powers of Germany's Federal Intelligence Service, the BND, and its Domestic Intelligence Service, the BFV, have long lagged behind those of major European counterparts. Officials say the services will get more powers to access laptops, cell phones, and other devices, and also take what they call active measures. This reform has been planned for months and still requires parliamentary approval. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Officials say an Army Apache attack helicopter crashed in a central Texas field, killing both people on board and sparking a wildfire that forced several homes to be evacuated. On Wall Street, a mixed day as the Dow was down by 21 points. The Nasdaq rose 143. The S&P advanced 20. More at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Kirk Cameron. Christian Healthcare Ministries is not another health insurance policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
Hiroshi Okuda, the former chief executive of Toyota, who led the Japanese automaker's stellar rise in global markets, has died at the age of 93.
Okuda had a 45-year career at Toyota Motor Corporation and served as its president and then CEO from 1995 through 2006. He's especially remembered for having led the development of the gas-electric hybrid Prius in 1997, a model with the fuel-efficient technology that was groundbreaking at the time. He was also key in leading Toyota's global expansion, setting up manufacturing plants in the U.S. and Europe. Bob Agnew reporting.
U.S. inflation slowed last month, and a measure of underlying price pressures also cooled, suggesting higher oil and gas prices from the Iran war are only having a limited impact on broader costs in the economy. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters. A mini
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. No relief from this heat the next few days or nights. Tonight we dip down to 76 as our low. Tomorrow another blazing hot day. 98 the high, the blend of sunshine and clouds, as 20% chance for late afternoon, evening showers. More of this on Friday, 99 the high. The feels like temperature reaching 108, and that same 20% chance we get rain. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
WQXL Columbia, W264DF.
Grills, outdoor kitchens, fireplaces. Summer sizzle starts with Bart. This is 107 The Point. This is The Point. Make The Point Radio.
Welcome back to Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network. You can reach the guys with the South Carolina Education Lottery lucky number, 888-898-2525. That's 888-898-2525. Now back to Phil and Chris with the second hour of Sports Talk on the Sports Talk Media Network.
All right, welcome back, everybody. It is Sports Talk Media Network here on the Palmetto Pigskin Tour for 2026. Let's see. We have been to Coastal Carolina. We have been to the Citadel, El Cid. We have been to Furman, FU all the time. And you can say that because that's what they say. And tonight we are at Wild and Wonderful Presbyterian College, PC, the home of the Blue Hose. And you have to sometimes, for people who aren't from around here, have to explain what's a blue hose. We've done plenty of that, Bergie, over the years, telling people what the Blue Hose are. Not an is, it's an R.
Very true.
They are true. People representing Presbyterian College, and we're going to have a couple of players here with us in a little bit, but right now it's our pleasure to welcome back to the program. We had him on in the spring to talk about spring practice. First time visiting with him in person here at the Templeton Center at the Greg Nybert Court. Coach Matt Rawl joining us here on Sports Talk, and welcome in.
Hey, I appreciate you guys having me on and coming to campus today to do your show.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you, and, of course, you are taking over, I don't know, a good time because you're coming off a 10-win season, and enthusiasm and maybe support for this program is at an all-time high. But then You're losing your head coach. You're now the head coach. You lose a lot of players. You got a lot of young guys, sort of like starting over.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of enthusiasm. That's been great. The alumni and people in the community and surrounding areas. There's a lot of excitement about the program. It is a different football team than a year ago. I mean, not only the new head coach, we have 71 new players since spring ball that have joined our program. And so there's been some challenges with that. Obviously, I've always said college football is a race to maturity. And we've had to work from the get-go on trying to mature as a football team. We've got a lot of young players. Feel like we have a very talented roster, but it's a very young roster right now. So just trying to teach them, from nutrition habits to about hydration to how the weight room operates, all those little details. We've been working tirelessly trying to get our team to mature in a hurry. And there's been some really good football being played on the practice field in between that process.
Absolutely. What was it like last year putting that season together? You heard me go over a lot of the accolades. What a year it was. Coach Englehart's done a great job everywhere he's been. You know that. And you guys put together a phenomenal season. What did you learn from that? And then now all of a sudden you're thrust into the head coaching role. What are you taking from that you're applying to this year?
Well, there's just a lot of things that, watching Coach Englehart the last 2 years and how he operated and got things, moving in a more forward direction from when he, took over here and how that worked at a place like PC and being able to apply those things. The recruiting, I've never coached in the South, and what recruiting looks like in the South and where those, major footprints are and those type of things. And so, there's many things. We could sit here and talk a long time about the things I learned from Coach E. But, I think those are some of the biggest ones to take away.
One thing about that team last year, you buried people in the first half of games. You buried people. I mean, you outscored people in the first half, 251 to 103 in the first half of games last year. What was the key to getting off to the great starts and building those first half leads?
Well, I think first of all it's all players, right? We had some really talented players. We got guys that finished here that were the all-time leading receiver, touchdowns, rushing, all those type of things, right? And the all-time sack leaders and so on and so forth. And so that certainly helped. I also think that, as a staff, we were able to do a really good job last year of game planning and finding ways early that we thought we could create explosive plays. The offensive coordinator last year, Jason Martin, I thought he was as good as anybody I've ever worked with at doing that. And, and it all just kind of played together, right? But you look at it, and what I've talked to our team about a lot this year is we've also, over the course of the last 2 years since I've been here, have had a number of victories that I would call fourth quarter victories, and so we talk a lot now about finishing. You got to finish games, and you can't just win a game in the first quarter. You got to win a game in the fourth quarter, and just making sure that we don't think that we have to come out and blow people out from the jump, that there's going to be long, hard-fought battles in that process as well.
Yeah, special quarterback last year, no doubt about it, in Colin Hurst. Yeah. And how do you replace him? What's the quarterback battle been looking like?
So the quarterback battle has been really strong. We've got Landon Sharp was here with us last year as a redshirt freshman, and he is a really competitive kid, really competitive. He's been doing a great job. Max Holzclaw, who's been with us the last 2 years, is a very athletic quarterback, and those two guys have taken the bulk of the reps with the ones and the twos. We brought in 4 freshmen, and those guys. There's a few of those guys that have really stepped up and are doing a really good job in practice and are showing us some things that you hope you never have to get to a third or fourth string quarterback. But I've certainly had years in the past where you've had to, and I feel good about that position. Of course, Colin Hurst was a special player. I mean, he really was. He knew where to go with the ball, got it out really quick, really directed the offense and those things. I told these guys from the jump, I don't expect any of you to be Colin. Be yourselves, but you guys all have traits that we're going to be just fine.
major changes to the offensive scheme and what you're trying to do, what you want to do in your image, or do you just pick up what you were doing last year?
No, I certainly not just picking up what we did last year, right? Put my twist on it a little bit. Coach Babcock, my offensive coordinator, him and I had a lot of success when he was the head coach at McKendree and I was his offensive coordinator, and so there's things that we've done, and then obviously we've both gone our separate directions since that time, and things that we've pieced together from that. But I thought, one of the reasons PC was such a good fit for me the last 2 years was myself and the offensive staff. We were very similarly minded, and that was a really good fit. So there won't be wholesale changes. The offense in a lot of ways is going to look very similar, but it's also going to have Matt Rawl and Mike Babcock's twist on it.
Sure. As I mentioned, you ran the ball so well last season at a record pace. Can you run the ball as well this year with this group?
I hope so. But, our offensive line, we lost a few guys to graduation, but we've had a couple guys that have been here 2 or 3 years that have not gotten a ton of playing time, but we're in the too deep. They were traveling. They were practicing with the travel squad every week in practice, and they've really stepped up. And I feel really good about where we're at with the offensive line right now. Obviously you get into a game and the bullets really start flying. Are they going to be able to keep their composure and make those calls quickly and all those type of things? But at this point I feel really good about it. We got a transfer back. We had a kid, Drew McClole, who played for us 2 years ago, my first year, and then he got in the portal and went to East Carolina, and then came back, called me after I got the head job and asked if I'd take him back, and I did. And, so there's been another, a little bit more experience to be able to bring back in that mix as well. And so I feel pretty good about, where that group is at as a whole right now.
You only gave up 16 points a game last year, so you were good on defense. I mean, you had the complete thing going last year. 35 points a game on offense, 16 points a game on defense. That's a dream season. How good will the defense be this year?
Well, the defense is going to be different. I feel Coach Dan Owen, our D coordinator last year, is one of a kind. And to try to replicate or take exactly what he does, just nobody else does that. I hired a guy named Mike Bruno, who in the interview process, I interviewed about 17 people for that job, and there was all different guys that were 4 down, cover 4 guys that were 3 down, everything.
Yeah.
And I just felt like Mike probably brought the most. He was the most similar to Dan in that way, and I felt that would give our guys some carryover. But the defense is where we really are a little bit less experienced. We lost a lot of production off that team. Now, we were able to, with all the chaos with the NCAA and the fifth-year stuff, we were able to get one of those guys back in Malik Horvath, who, last year I think he finished his career last year, unbeknownst to him, 1 sack shy of the school record. And just 4 days ago, we were able to get him back on campus, and so that's been a really, really good addition for us there. We have quite a bit of experience in the secondary. The front end right now is where, I don't want to call it inexperience because we have guys that have played, but none of those guys have been full-time starters and things of that nature. So there's been some growing pains at times on that side of the ball. However, I really feel like the last 4 or 5 days, that group is really, really starting to come into their own. We have a grading system for practice every day, and there was a point in time where, it was offense wins. We play for the blue practice jerseys, right? So offense wins the blue jerseys. Offense wins the blue jerseys. The defense has won the last 4 days in a row, and they're really, really, really starting to fly around. I think now they have a better understanding of, where their run fits are, what their checks are, those type of things, and now they're able to really start playing fast. And the goal is by August 27th that they're flying around and that the offense is clicking on all cylinders, and thankfully, we don't have to keep playing against each other. I talked to Coach Englehart the other night, and he asked how I was doing, and I said, the worst part about being a head coach is if the offense has a great day, you don't sleep at night because you're worried about the defense, and then when the defense has a great day, you don't sleep at night. I said, when the heck do you ever sleep as a head coach?
Yeah, really?
So,
when you're undefeated.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, which brings to mind the next question, and that is, you're a new guy, you're a new head coach, and you've got a practically rebuilt roster. But people are going to be remembering 10 wins from last year, and like I mentioned, 35 points a game, 16 points allowed per game, all the great play of the quarterback, the record-setting receiver, the terrific running game. People want more of the same. But will they be understanding that you're a first-year head coach, you're new at that position here, and you've got a practically rebuilt roster compared to last year?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I guess part of me maybe hope so, but I also am not expecting it, But obviously, I knew what I was getting when I took the job, when I accepted the job, and so I obviously have embraced that. The fact that a high standard has been set here, I wouldn't want it any other way. And I talk to our players about that all the time. Like, there has been a standard set here now. We have to continue to raise our standards and to meet that. And there's an expectation when you go out to Bailey Memorial. You talked about the winning streak. I think I saw something the other day came across my desk. It's like the 5th or 6th longest in Division I football home winning streak. There's a responsibility that comes with that, and we just try to attack it every day, get better every single day. That's kind of been our motto around here: is win today. You wake up every day and you have two choices in life: what kind of attitude are you going to have, and what kind of effort are you going to give. And I feel like our team has done that. I really feel like we've had tremendous attitudes in attacking each day that way, and they're giving great effort. We have a very, very coachable football team. They allow us to challenge them a little bit and to really coach them hard, and they accept that and embrace it, and that makes for a fun group to work with. Yes, we're young, but this has been a very, very enjoyable team to coach this fall.
Well, I tell you what, the folks who follow Presbyterian football, and there's a lot of them around the state because this is an old school. It's got an alumni base that, it's not huge because of the size of the school, but they've been around for a long, long time, and they know good football, and they've had great football here at PC. And they were so appreciative of what you guys did last year. I would think they'd have some understanding and give you guys a chance to kind of get your feet underneath you if you feel like you need to do that. Then again, you open up, like you mentioned, at home on a Thursday night against Virginia Wise. So a good opportunity there to get off on not that you're going to sit here and predict a victory, but a good chance to get off on the right foot.
Yeah, that's the hope, is that we'll come out and play good football. There's going to be a lot of guys playing again for the first time, and how do they remain composed and focused on the task at hand when there's finally people in the stands, when the lights are on, when all the things that go with a college football game. How are they going to be able to handle that? And that's probably our biggest question mark. But certainly a familiar opponent for myself a little bit. The head coach at Virginia Wise was at Quincy University when I was at McKendree. They were big rivals. So we faced each other a few times. So I think, there's a familiarity with the two of us there and what to maybe expect, from the other side. But, again, for us, for PC, it's really going to be about, again, the maturation process. And are we going to be mature enough and have enough, emotional stability to handle the bright lights when they come on?
We wish you the best of luck, and congratulations on last year. I know you want to put that behind you and think about the future, but that was a special year. When you guys beat Mercer and Furman back-to-back to open the season, it was like, what in the world is going on here? And then y'all just went on from there. So
yeah,
good luck this year. We'll be following you and talking to you and hope it all goes well.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'll tell you, the Mercer and Furman games last year surprised a lot of people, but it didn't surprise anybody in our locker room. We were expecting to win those football games, and hopefully we're going to be able to go into the same thing this year with each and every opponent and expect to win.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Coach Matt Rawle, head football coach here at Presbyterian College. We got the players, Jalen Patrick, Ryan Largent, coming up after the break. Be right back.
In 2012, inside Clemson football's weight room, a different kind of barbell was developed. The Tsunami Bar is a flexible, oscillating bar designed to enhance high-intensity training while helping reduce joint stress. Unlike traditional rigid bars, it moves. That movement forces your stabilizer muscles to activate, your core to engage, and your body to produce force more efficiently. The result is improved strength, better balance, and more functional performance. Tsunami Bar Sports continues to provide innovative, dynamic training solutions that empower individuals of all fitness levels to reach their peak potential. Whether you're training for general fitness, building resilience, or improving rotational strength for sports like golf, the Tsunami Bar challenges your body in ways traditional equipment cannot. Learn more at TsunamiBarSports.com.
Traveling can be the worst, especially when you can't find your favorite show. Well, don't worry. We've got the perfect way to keep up with everything happening in the Palmetto State when you're away from home. Just pull up the Chief Sports app on your mobile device, and you can listen live to Sports Talk.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Sports Talk Media Network.
So the next time you can't find us on one of our great radio affiliates, just log on to the Chief Sports app, the best way to stay connected with the Sports Talk Media Network.
Looking for thrills? Then welcome to the South Carolina Education Lottery, where excitement's the name of the game, and every chance at a win
Just one more. Come on, so close.
comes with the chance of a whiff.
Ugh. Well, no biggie.
Nicely done. You handled it like a pro. Because when the stakes start getting too real and you find yourself playing for more than fun, it might be time to take a break.
Good point.
Playing for fun makes you a better player, and a better player is a better you. Learn more at SCEducationLottery.com.
Is this the best we could do for the Presbyterian fight song as a piano rendition? We got to find something with some drums, with some trumpets, some horns. The best we could do is a piano rendition. All right, we are here at Presbyterian. Thanks to Coach for being with us. Palmetto Pigskin Tour. Let's welcome in wide receiver Jalen Patrick from Hephzibah, Georgia, and defensive back Ryan Largent from Murrells Inlet. Gentlemen, welcome in. Ryan, which high school did you go to?
St. James High School.
I thought St. James.
Yes, sir.
I go by there all the time.
Okay, nice.
On 707?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The Sharks.
Yes, sir, indeed.
What'd you play there? Did you play multiple positions?
I just play safety mainly.
Just played safety?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jalen, spell Hephzibah.
Hephzibah, Hephzibah.
That's a hard name.
Yes, sir. A lot of people struggle with that.
That is a hard name. Jalen, let's talk about offense and how things are looking so far in camp. I mean, you guys were so good last year.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be as good this year?
That's good. I feel like we will be. We have a lot of young talent coming in that's very talented. And then we also have a pretty good group of transfers that we brought in, as well as a couple of leaders who stayed from last year's team. We just trying to do a great job of upholding the standard, and these young guys are doing a great job of taking on the challenge. So I think we'll be just as good as last year.
Tell me about the quarterback battle from where you see it as a wide receiver.
The quarterback battle it's a battle, like you said. Landon Sharp and Max Holtzclaw are both two amazing athletes. They have their own special way of playing the football game, and they just two very great competitors. They know exactly how to get us the ball, and on and out the field, we've all been taking great strides of just being better teammates for each other.
Can they put on the money like Colin Hurst could last year?
Hey, from what I've seen, they've been doing what they could do for us. So yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jalen, defensively, you guys, you carried your weight last year as well. I mean, this was a complete team effort last year. How much fun was it to see this team grow up and come together like it did last season? Offense, defense, special teams, the whole deal.
Last year was a blast. I mean, all of it. Being 10-2 is fun. Winning a lot's fun.
Yeah.
But it was just fun, especially for like some of the older guys that have been here for 4 years. They didn't start out the best. I think the first year they won maybe one game, if that, right? Mm-hmm. So being a part of those guys and just, winning, it was, like you said, a team effort. Offense is doing their job, defense is doing their job, and special teams as well. So it was fun to be a part of, and yeah, it was a great year.
What made the defense so special? Coach was saying the defensive coordinator was outstanding. He had a great scheme. And what made it the defense special last season?
Well, like Coach had said earlier, Coach Dan Owen, he's one of a kind for sure in many ways. He's great at what he does for sure. And then I think one of the reasons we were so good defensively too is we were definitely an older team. A lot of these dudes have been here for 4 years. A lot of them aren't here anymore because either one, they graduated, or, two, they transferred out. But it was just like a tight-knit, a real family. And, we knew what we had to get done. The offense was doing what they needed to do, and we knew that we had a standard to uphold on the defense as well.
So this transition, first of all, what was it like for you when you learned that Coach Englehart was leaving and, you had this great season, then your coach leaves? And you know what happens when there's a coaching transition. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Ryan, what was your reaction to that? How do you think the team dealt with that?
If I'm being honest, it was kind of shocking, but not really. Coach E had a great run while he was here. he got better each and every year. And when you go 10-2, there's other people want you, right? So it was kind of surprising in a way, but in the same sense, it was like we could kind of feel it coming maybe. For me personally, it was kind of just like, okay, what's next? A lot of talks with my family, a lot of prayers, talks with the coaches as well. For a minute, there was a little bit of worry because I'm like, what do I do now? At PC, we're coachless. The coaches I was with, there had been talks of maybe me coming if, wherever they went. And then, it didn't end up working out, but it was really just having to try and trust the process. And then as soon as Coach Raw got the job here, it was kind of a done deal. Coach Raw had been here for 2 years. Obviously, he was offensive line coach. Not much of an O-lineman myself by no means, but he was also a special teams coach as well. So, I got to see him, got to be around him and talk to him and stuff. And he's a great guy. He's a great coach. And as soon as he got named the head coach, so actually at the time I was in the transfer portal, kind of a lot of uncertainties, didn't really know what I was going to do. As soon as I found out he was the head coach, I think we reported back off a winter break 2 days later, and I went into his office. I said, I'm with you, Coach. So, a lot of uncertainties, a lot of worry there for a minute, and then, I heard Coach Raw's name get thrown in there, and it was pretty easy after that.
Jalen, how about for you? You're smiling over here. It seems like you're happy with the way everything – if it was going to be a transition, you were happy the way things went down.
Yes, sir. Last year I felt like I had a pretty good season. And going into accepting the coaching change, it was a pretty crazy time for me as well. I actually was considering hitting the portal, and I called Coach Raw to let him know, like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm going to enter my name into the portal. I had talked with Coach E and Coach Martin, who had left, and we were in talks. And Coach Raw basically told me, and prior to, I knew that Landon and Max, both of the quarterbacks, were both staying. So I called Coach Raw, and he told me, like, hey, if you give me a week to figure out this coaching situation, I promise that I'll do what's best for the football team and so forth. And then he was like, if that's not how it goes, he'll help me in my recruiting process. And I told him right in there, I said, Coach, if you get this job, I'm staying. Like, I had the utmost, like, trust in you, and, like, your judgment and the confidence that I have in you is all there. So I just told him right then and there, if he got the job, that I'd be back. And that's what happened. He gave me a call, and I told him, I'm a man of my word, I'm coming back.
Well, that was big news for the Blue Hose to get both of you guys back. So what about Ryan going into this new season after what the standard now has been established, the bar has been raised? How about matching or improving on what you did last year?
Yeah, so like obviously we've talked a lot about last year. We set a standard. 10-2, that's great, but there's some changes that have come in here. A lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, even including the coaching staff. And our main thing is just doing our job. Upholding that standard. And just being the very best we can be, understanding that we got a job to do every time we step on the field, and that, we just got to get it done. And not really trying, I think a lot of people want us to compare to last year as well, but I think the main thing is just being ourselves, not trying to match what we did last year because, like we said, Coach D.O., Dan Owen, he's a special guy, he does his own thing.
Hold that thought, guys. I want to hold you over for just a minute, okay?
Yes, sir.
I want to get back to you. We'll be right back with more.
On Point Weather, brought to you by our friends at Palmetto State Armory.
On 107 The Point.
Here's tonight's forecast. No relief from this heat the next few days or nights. Tonight we dip down to 76 as our low. Tomorrow another blazing hot day. 98 the high, the blend of sunshine and clouds, as 20% chance for late afternoon, evening showers. More of this on Friday, 99 the high. The feels like temperature reaching 108, and that same 20% chance we get rain. I'm Cal Moss with your On Point local weather.
Palmetto State Armory is Columbia's premier suppressor dealer, and for a limited time only is proud to offer 20% off all suppressors. Stop in today and explore our expansive selection of suppressors from the industry's top brands. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff is here to help walk you through the suppressor buying process, from selecting the right suppressor to filling out the paperwork. Stop in today, find the right suppressor for you, and save big, only at your local Palmetto State Armory.
Wednesday. With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt will be leaving the Trump administration at the end of the month to spend time with her young family. The 28-year-old Leavitt called it a bittersweet decision in a social media post Wednesday shortly after President Trump announced she'd be stepping down. She is the youngest person in history to hold the role and recently gave birth to her second child. An Army Apache attack helicopter crashed in a central Texas field, killing both people on board and sparking a wildfire that forced several homes to be evacuated. Officials from nearby Fort Hood announced the AH-64 Apache helicopter had crashed Wednesday. A spokesman for the Bell County Sheriff's Office confirmed that both occupants died. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 21 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Are you tired of that dripping faucet driving you crazy? Is your drain doing more of a gurgle than a flow? Don't despair. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning is here to save your day. Serving our community as locally owned plumbing experts, Franklin Plumbing tackles everything from minor leaks to major clogs. And we're talking fast, friendly, reliable service. They respect your home. They respect your wallet. Josh and his team offer upfront pricing, and that's important. This team I'm talking about, they're fully licensed. They're insured technicians. They're ready for any plumbing crisis that you might encounter. Whether it's routine maintenance, a stubborn blockage, or a total plumbing overhaul, they'll get the job done right the first time. They've been out to my home, my brother's home, even his business. I'm comfortable, very comfortable, bragging on Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. Stop letting plumbing problems disrupt your life. Call Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning today and experience the difference that true expertise makes. Visit their website, franklinplumbing.sc.com, or give them a call, 799-2222. That's 799-2222. Franklin Plumbing and Drain Cleaning.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat & Place, just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat & Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Do you think you're stuck with rising insurance rates? Whoa, think again. I'm David Jolly with South Carolina Insurance Brokers. Most people stay with the big names because they think that's the only way to save. But as an independent insurance agent, I have a secret weapon. That weapon's options. I compare rates from dozens of top-rated companies at once. My clients often save hundreds a year just by letting me do the shopping for them. Same local face, just a much better price. Stop overpaying. Give me a call at 803-380-8877. I'm David Jolly. When you think of insurance, I ask that you think of me.
As a business owner, you want your customers to have the best experience possible, and that includes convenient parking. If you have designated parking spaces or an entire lot, Schroeder's Towing can provide free signage and installation for businesses to deter unwanted parking and removal of abandoned vehicles. Contact Schroeder's Towing and ask about free signage for your spaces or lot. Take back your parking. 803-772-7930 and SchroedersTowing.com.
Schroeder's Towing, Columbia's finest, fastest hookers in town.
South Carolina summers are hot and humid and hard on your air conditioner. When your home stops feeling comfortable, call Sweet Comfort Services. We're family owned and operated with over 30 years of heating and air experience. From service and maintenance to complete system replacement, we're here to keep your family cool. We'll even meet or beat any quote from a licensed competitor. Schedule your appointment online at sweethvac.com or call 803-331-8143. Sweet Comfort Services, comfort you can count on.
All right, we're doing something unusual. We're carrying over the players. We were having such a good conversation. I felt like I was squeezing them a little bit, so wanted to come back and give them a chance to finish up. So, Ryan, as the music was hitting, you were just talking about the expectations, high standards, and kind of knowing what the fans are going to be expecting. And they might not be as understanding. I mean, yes, you lost your head coach. Yes, you lost a whole bunch of players. But if you got 10 wins last year, you can do it again this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, people always have their expectations from the outside looking in for sure. Like I was saying before we, went on the break, our main thing is just trying to do what we do. Not trying to, copy last year and do it last year because, last year's in the past. This year's a new year, new players, new coaching staff, and us as a younger team, we just got to buy in and trust in the program. And, us as older guys like me and Jalen, we just got to, lead the way and understand that there has been a standard set, but also listening to all the outside noise can be your biggest enemy. So just really just trusting what the coach has for us.
You mentioned that you guys are the older guys. Jalen, I mean, I know Coach was here, last year, so it's not his first time here at PC, but, I mean, he is the new head coach and first time as a head coach. But, I mean, a guy like you, older guy, do you have to take on a greater responsibility from a leadership standpoint?
Greater responsibility, not so much. Last year, I was still one of the more vocal guys on the team. Even though my role wasn't as big, I was still a player that a lot of the older players did look to for leadership, and I feel like that's just something that I've had to keep going now. What I do on the field, I just have to continue to do up my play, so that's just something else that has to show.
When y'all opened the season last year and you beat Mercer, and all of a sudden people go, what? They were ranking like number 11, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
You beat Mercer there. All right, okay, they beat Mercer. Then you go to Greenville and you beat Furman.
Yeah.
I mean, what were y'all thinking after you won those 2 games?
After we won those 2 games, it was just a testament to who we were as a team. Like, we knew we were a tough and physical team. We knew we had been through a lot in the years prior, and that was just something that, honestly, going into both of those games, we felt like we should win the game. So it was a surprise to everyone else, but it wasn't as much as a surprise to us.
So y'all knew?
Yeah, we knew we were good.
What was the bus ride like coming home from those 2 games?
It was crazy. The bus rides there were crazy too. Like, it was just a different mentality that the team had, and the level of chemistry was just crazy.
Yeah. All right. Ryan, before I let you go, we were talking off air. So you grew up at the beach down at Murrells Inlet. You went to St. James, played for the Sharks, and you play with Sharks. I mean, you're a surfer. You're not just a guy that gets on a little board and does a little skinny thing along the edge. You're a big-time, real-time surfer.
Yeah, so me and my brother, we actually grew up competitively surfing, like, all over the East Coast and stuff like that. So, yeah, grew up, I guess you could say, playing with Sharks. Yes, sir.
You ever have one come up near you?
Yeah, multiple times. But, it's one of those things, just you can't panic too much. Cause,
the hell you can.
Yeah, but as soon as you panic and you start splashing, and that's when stuff goes bad, you just got to be still, and then as soon as you get the chance, you got to go.
What's the biggest wave you've ever ridden?
Biggest wave, probably in Puerto Rico. I went on a surf trip there. It was probably about 11 foot, so, pretty big, yeah.
How'd you do?
Well, it's safe to say I was out for 45 minutes, and I caught one wave, and it was the one to come in. So, yeah, I was pretty scared, but, I made it in. So, yeah, I'm still here.
So tell me in layman's terms, plain English, what does that mean? You caught the wave and rode it all the way in?
Yeah, so pretty much. So I'm out there. I'm scared to death. 11 feet in Puerto Rico. I mean, that's a big wave, right?
Yeah,
so, we're out there with a bunch of friends, but I'm not too fond of big waves. I'm from the East Coast. I like surfing, but big waves, not me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm out there 45 minutes just kind of sitting out past where the waves break, not catching nothing. Finally, I'm like, well, I got to get in somehow. So I finally catch one, get it in, and that was my day.
It was awesome?
Oh, yes, sir. It was a blast. Yes, sir.
You ever want to go to Hawaii?
I would love to, actually. It's one place I'd love to go to.
I mean, would you take on the waves out there?
Yes, sir. I'd love to. Yes, sir.
Would you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can ride the wave of momentum from last season here at Presbyterian into a big year. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yes, sir.
It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you. The most
sir.
important thing is stay healthy and have a great year, and we'll be looking for some terrific things from the Blue Hose this season.
Yes, sir.
Thanks to Jalen Patrick from Hepzibah, Georgia, and Ryan Largent from Murrells Inlet. Appreciate you guys coming by.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Good luck
Yes,
this
sir.
season.
Go Hose.
That was awesome. Bergie, I'm afraid if I'm on a surfboard and I see a shark, I'm out of there. There ain't no messing around. I am gone.
Ryan is a fascinating young man. He's got a great backstory. Some of the other stuff that was going on in the background that our listeners didn't get to hear, but we were privy to. His dad works at one of the golf courses down there, so obviously he's probably a pretty talented golfer as well. And so obviously a very, very talented football player and a surfer. I mean, what a background.
All right, he's putting the headset back on real quick. Let's see. Which one are you on here? You on the same one that you were on before? Throw that on there real quick. I got to ask you the golf thing. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
yes,
a
sir.
golfer as well?
Yeah. So actually, my dad, he actually played on the mini tours for some years before I was born. So
Get out of town.
Yeah. So golf's in the blood too.
All right, what's your handicap?
Handicap to be exact, but if I went out right now, I'd probably shoot mid to high 80s. Nothing.
I hate you. I was playing Sunday. I was winning my match by 3 shots on the 16th, and my putter broke. Yeah, putter. It broke.
So did it break or did you break it?
I didn't break it. I just pulled it out of my bag, walked up to the green. It kind of brushed against the green, just sort of dragging it, and it hit the green.
The head just broke right off.
Ended up losing my 3-stroke lead, because I had to borrow.
Now Ryan,
had to
ask him how he solved that problem, and would you have done the same thing?
Well, I borrowed the guy I was playing. I borrowed his putter. You really can't do that, can you? You can't.
I mean, not necessarily, but hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, right?
I mean, I know technically by the Royal and Ancient and by the USGA, it's against the rules to borrow somebody's club if you happen to break one. You got to live with what's in your bag.
100%.
Yeah.
But when we're out there playing around, you know USGA.
Yeah. Bergie here is trying to pull the rules here. It don't work that way. All right, guys, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate this guy. I'll tell you, he's a surfer. He's a football player. He's probably got about a 10 handicap. He's got the life I want to live, except for the shark part. I don't want the first thing to do with any sharks. So, thank you guys. That's great. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the Gamecocks. And I had a chance to talk to Torian Gray the other day, guys. The veteran defensive back secondary coach for South Carolina, does a fantastic job, of course. And here's our conversation as we talked about what he is going to be looking for this season with his guys back there in the secondary. How are you guys on the defensive staff feeling about this group? Can it be like the 24 group?
That's a work in progress, waiting to see. That 24 group was really darn good. And like you said, your defense is best when you're strong up front and up the middle with your linebackers and your D-line. And, that's what this next month fall camp's going to be, to see if these guys can gel, because there's a lot of new guys still learning the scheme. The linebackers are all back, though, of the guys that played a lot of snaps last year. So it's a chance. Hopefully, if we can be in that conversation, that means we had a really damn good year, so I hope so.
So for the first time in a lot of years, you don't have a DQ Smith, you don't have an Eman Worry back there, but you got a couple of guys that played a lot of football for you.
Yeah, definitely. Those guys played as true freshmen, so they've been with us for a while. Jalen Kilgore, same thing, played a lot as a true freshman, been with us for a while. So without having any of those guys back there, it's a whole different world. But Peyton Williams has been here. He's an elder statesman. He's played a lot of football for us now at this point. Judge Corey, Vakari Swain have been here three years at least, or going on year 4 for both of those guys. So they played a lot of football. It's just now fiddling in the guys, getting the guys to play around them, Phil, and if we're able to do that, then we'll contribute to that front and the linebackers.
A lot of people excited about Currents, wanting to see him out there and see what he can do, and I guess you guys are right. You don't plan on wasting him. You plan on getting him out there in some way?
No, rightfully so. He's come in, handled himself like a pro, and when you speak of the guys who have played as true freshmen for us, the Jalen Kilgores, your Nick Eman Wars, DQs, we anticipate him playing a lot too, so excited to see him continue to progress.
What do things look like right now among the 5 starting spots back there, would you say?
We feel good about our corner spots. We got to get some depth there. Judge McCarry played a lot of football. Neat DeMarcus Leach, Kasi Barnes, Jalewis Solomon, KJ Johnson. Somebody needs to be able to contribute after those guys and be able to come along. Nickel spot, we like Gerald Kilgore, Koichi Scott. Just haven't had the experience in this defense because Jalen's played that spot the last 3 years basically. So just anxious to see how those guys continue to come along and progress. And then safety spot, Peyton's played a lot of ball, but honestly after that, the guys we're going to be counting on haven't played a lot of football, so that's going to be an enigma. But we do like the body types that are there and the guys that are there at those spots.
Yeah, does that worry you a little bit if, unfortunately, one of your frontline guys, the back end, does go down, inexperience behind them? Is that maybe one of your concerns?
Absolutely. So that's the challenge of fall camp, is to get those guys more experience, more confidence to be able to come along, because we're going to need all of them at some point, just the laws of football and playing in this conference.
So many places now in college football we see where the secondary positions are being split up among coaches. Seldom do you have, I think, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe seldom do you see one guy handling safeties and corners and nickels. And that's you. I know you got assistants working with you, but I mean, that's you. They all fall under you. You like that? You like being the guy that controls everybody in the secondary?
I love it. There's a lot of work, a lot of extra details and stuff that you got to be on, but I have great guys that's helping me with that process. And yeah, I mean, long story short, I love it. So yes, I'm excited to be able to have a hand in that.
What do you think about this team overall for 2026? You know, the outside noise is, hey, look out for South Carolina. Maybe you like kind of being the team that people kind of are overlooking in preseason polls, and then you overachieve based on what they're saying. But from the inside, what do you see?
From the inside, I see we got a very talented team, and it's exciting to go into a season and know we got really good players, honestly, and we just have to. Hopefully, you can stay healthy and do our job as coaches. But it's exciting going into this fall camp.
And how important is it from a defensive standpoint? You've been with Coach White the entire time. You guys are 6 years deep now with this defense, with this scheme. I mean, that's got to mean something.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as he mentions a lot, he's been in this defense for 14 years now, so he knows the in and outs and the intricacies from that standpoint. And now me going into year 6 with him, I feel like I really know a lot of the in and outs of the defense at this point, and feel I can help him and input a lot more now.
Torian Gray, boy, I tell you what, hard to believe it's going into year 6 with Torian Gray and Clayton White heading up that defense. Those are two outstanding defensive coaches. And South Carolina, Shane Beamer, they're lucky to have those two guys still together on that defensive coaching staff. That defense is going to be good. I don't think there's any question about it. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Jim Corbett. I've been an attorney for more than 30 years. There's one thing I've learned about injury cases. It's you need the personal touch. You need the lawyer to get to know you and describe your damages. You don't want a case manager talking to an insurance company and then talking to you and then talking to a lawyer with limited experience at the last minute to try to settle a case. I talk to you. I find out what your case is about. Jim at JimCorbettAttorney.com. Jim at JimCorbettAttorney.com for your injury cases.
This is Major Billy Downer with the South Carolina Department of Natural Resources. Boating season is right around the corner here in the Palmetto State. As you get ready for this spring and summer, make sure your registration sticker is up to date and you have a copy of your registration card on board your boat. For more information on boat registration and answers to common questions, visit dnr.sc.gov.
Gas prices might be high, but your auto loan rate doesn't have to be. Beat your current auto loan rate by 2% when you refinance with Founders Federal Credit Union. Plus, make no payments for up to 90 days. That's right, save money with a great rate and make no payments for up to 90 days. Let a Founders representative be your trusted advisor to help make the refinance process quick and easy. Don't forget to ask for a free auto insurance quote to protect your purchase. Founders also offers mechanical breakdown protection that's competitive with most warranty plans available at dealerships. Stop by an office or apply on the Founders app today. To learn more, visit foundersfcu.com/auto. Not a Founders member yet? Visit the Founders website to see if you qualify for membership. For additional cost information, call us toll-free 800-845-1614. Membership qualification required. Terms and conditions apply.
The Sports Talk Recruiting Report is sponsored by Seawell's Catering.
Well, I apologize to recruit nuts around the country. We've been a little slack. On the recruiting front here. I mean, it's just been the fact that I just haven't had enough time to do a whole bunch of recruiting stuff. Plus, everybody's playing football. They're in practices. There's not a whole lot of, well, there's some stuff going on in the recruiting world. Some commitments are being made. Some visits are being lined up. But mostly everybody's concentrating on their teams right now. Coaches are concentrating on their teams because they want to have a job next year. And, recruits are working on their game and practicing with their teams, getting ready for their seasons. But the recruiting will come back to the forefront, as you well know, in the not-too-distant future. But we do have a little recap of recruiting information from the past few days that we'll share with you, brought to you by Seawells. Of course, the folks at Seawells, they want to remind you that they have been doing what they do for about 80 years. The Seawell family and staff, they can handle all of your planning and your catering needs at their new facility inside the State Fairgrounds. For more information, check them out online at SeawellsCateringSC.com or the phone number 803-771-7385. Clemson commitments. Quarterback Kareem Hughley and running back Gary Walker, USC commitment running back Braden Tyson, were named to the Touchdown Club of Atlanta preseason All-State team. Walker was also named to the AJC Super 11. 2028 quarterback Caden Kraft of Mooresville, North Carolina, who South Carolina offered in January, will announce on Monday with Oregon, LSU, Tennessee, Michigan, Florida, and Ole Miss as the finalists. Another USC quarterback target, 2028 Anthony Turner, has been projected to Virginia Tech by Rivals. 2028 defensive end Luke Neighbors of Beaufort, Georgia, plans to visit South Carolina for a game October 3rd. USC target 2028 linebacker Ryan Peterson of Cornelius, North Carolina, offered by UCLA. That's where South Carolina has a couple of commitments off that team, so that might work in their favor. Another USC 2028 target, defensive end Christian McGowan of Jacksonville, was offered by Virginia Tech. Clemson target, 2028 safety Isaiah Reeves. He did not have Clemson among his final choices when he originally scheduled his commitment for last weekend, a commitment he decided to postpone. And now he has reaffirmed his planned visit to Clemson for the North Carolina game on September 19th. Wisconsin offered Clemson target, 2028 tight end Wright Martin. 2029 Northwestern linebacker Dash Holly was offered by Colorado. Ridgeview wide receiver Kanye Reed committed to Wofford. Hammond linebacker Hugh Manning committed to Richmond. And this is really old, but I'll mention it. Former Coastal Carolina quarterback Samari Collier is headed to Delaware State now. In basketball, Clemson target 6'4" guard Justin Wise committed to Georgia. Former Clemson forward Chauncey Wiggins moving from Florida State to Gonzaga. Make that Gonzaga. 6'7" Desmond Harrington of Gray Collegiate in Columbia is moving to Link Academy in Missouri. And baseball 2028 Daniel infielder Carl Schnabel committed to East Carolina. So throwing in some old stuff along with some newer stuff. That is recruiting tonight here on Sports Talk, brought to you by Seawells. All right, up Clemson way, Bergie, they are counting on Gideon Davidson to step up and have a big year running the football.
Absolutely, sort of in the shadow of Adam Randall last year in his opening season with the Tigers, but says he learned a lot from Randall when he made the transition from wide receiver to running back. Now he feels like it's his time. He's learned to be a leader, and he feels like this could be a year that he really does well in the Chad Morris offense, and here he is answering some questions a little bit earlier this week from the media.
Second fall camp, do you feel like the process is getting a little easier or smoother for you, just kind of navigating, the heat and the, pack schedule and all that?
Yes, sir. I would say it has gotten a lot easier. Obviously, coming from high school, the college just transitions a lot harder. But now that I've had a year under my belt, I feel like it's a lot easier. Just a lot of the concepts are the same, and I don't really have to, memorize a lot of different stuff since I've already had it, in my memory. So I would definitely say this year has been a lot easier. It's definitely slowed down. So, yes, sir.
People are expecting you to take another step forward this year. Do you feel like the weight of that extra responsibility while you're working through camp?
I wouldn't say it's a burden. I would actually take it as a challenge and a opportunity. I'm very excited for the opportunity I have, and I just look at it as a blessing to be able to be doing this and have this chance. So.
How do you balance stepping into that kind of leadership role with also learning a new offense at the same time?
Yeah, I would say I'm not by myself. I mean, we have a lot of, everybody really on this offense is learning it. So we're all just trying to teach each other, and being in this leadership role, it's really given me an opportunity to really learn it, well, not slack off and, do my own thing. But yeah, I just say we got a lot of guys to help each other do that. So.
How do you think that learning process is going with the offense coming into fall camp with you and with the offense entirely?
Yeah, no, I think it's coming very well. A lot of us are getting it down very well. We're all learning it, and we're all just having fun. We're really taking it serious. There's a lot that's being thrown at us, but I feel like we're all learning. We're all just having fun doing it. It's not really like a crazy challenge, but yeah.
What have you seen out of Chris Johnson?
A whole lot of speed for sure, and he's also very smart. We've all the running back room has been helping each other out, and he's getting this stuff down as easy as anybody else. So I've just seen a lot of leadership and a lot of fight.
In Chad's offense, you got to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. Is that fun for you? And kind of watching you guys work through it today to run those routes and stretch your legs a little bit?
For sure, yes. I love catching out of the backfield, not just running the ball, but I love catching and running routes. I think I've still got a lot to learn in running routes and catching football, but I love the challenge of being able to learn more. So yeah.
Is this a fun offense to play in?
I think so. I think it's, coming off of last year, it's a lot, I wouldn't say easier because I just guess signals and stuff are a little bit more difficult, but I think it's fun knowing, I can play this fast, I can play this, this position really well. So, yeah.
It's fun. What did you learn from Adam Randall last year? He's such a great leader, and you're sitting behind him watching, learning. What did you take away as a young kid that came here with an open canvas? Been through so many things.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing I took away from Adam's leadership was his ability to watch film. He was a senior. He didn't have many classes, or he didn't have any in-person classes, so he was able to watch film late at night. And I think I took away that because watching film is obviously a very important thing, and that's like my biggest, goal or challenge this year is to watch more film. And I believe that Adam gave me a good vision for that.
Okay, we'll see what the Tigers can produce with that running game this year. I know they're excited about him and about Johnson coming in from SMU and the speed that he's going to bring to that position. So we'll see what the Tigers get there. Bergie, I know you're excited. We've got the opening of the women's soccer season in South Carolina. South Carolina and Clemson women both playing soccer tonight. I know you are a enthusiast of women's soccer.
Actually watching the Carolina-Oregon State game as we speak. It's funny, it's no score, but if you watch this game, Gamecocks should be up at about 5-0. It looks like a high school varsity team running against their JV brethren. Because clearly we talk SEC speed during football season, but it looks the same here on the women's soccer pitch, but USC hadn't been able to take much advantage of it.
We prefer you focus on the show rather than watch sporting events.
There wasn't a whole lot I could do.
the
I was
show.
listening intently to your interviews, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it.
Thanks to Brandon Burke here at PC for helping us out. We'll see you tomorrow night from South Carolina State.